probably have to say the first time I ran away from home when I was just 10 years old. You see, my dad was in the Army, and we were living on base at the time, Fort Sam Houston military base in San Antonio, Texas. As a matter of fact, 417 McMurray Road was the address, to be exact. Anyways, the military housing that we were living in at that time was a single level home, and the windows were pretty low to the ground. And, I'm not too sure if that was because, there were always the threats of tornadoes in the area in case you need to get out of your house quickly. I don't know, But I do know that one day, I had finally come to the realization that I was kind of tired of disappointing my family and my friends a lot with the way that I was acting and getting in trouble and just the way that I was feeling. And so, I just figured, at that young age, I really didn't know what I could do except maybe run away from home. So when I was in my bedroom one day, I opened up the window and I popped off the screen and went ahead and climbed out and ran away. I'm not really sure why, but for whatever reason, I decided that I wasn't going to wear shoes that day. And maybe I thought if my parents saw my shoes in the bedroom, they wouldn't notice that I was missing. But I'll tell you this much, it didn't take long for me to wish that I had some shoes on my feet, because the stretch of Texas highway that I walked along that day, it was Texas, and it was definitely pretty hot. I eventually walked 11 miles that day from the home that I ran away from. And I remember that somewhere along the way, I was picked up by a stranger. He was driving a old VW Bug. And this strange man just pulled his car off on the side of the road, rolled his window down, and asked me through the window if I needed a ride. So when I said yes that I did, it was to no surprise, he leaned over, opened up the door. I climbed in and, we drove away. As we drove down the road, I remember at one point that he asked me if I was running away from home. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, this probably couldn't seem any more obvious. Here I am, a young kid by myself, walking along a Texas highway that I shouldn't be, and I'm barefooted to top it off. So I don't think it would have done any good to lie to him. So I went ahead and said, I told him, I said, I'm running away from home. And the weird thing is that this strange man never asked my name or where I lived. He didn't try to take me to a public place like a grocery market, a gas station, or even a police station for that matter. Instead, we just drove a little further down the road, and eventually he pulled the car over to the side. He reached over me, opened up the door, and just let me on my way. Like I said, I had run away from home and had ended up walking 11 miles. And I eventually ended up at this girl's house that I had a crush on at the time. Her name was Carrie Wilson. And I remember her dad wasn't home that day, but her mom was. And when her mom found out that I had showed up at her house, and I guess they knew where I lived. I wasn't really good with distances. Didn't realize at the time how far I had been walking. I do know that it was a long time. But when she'd found out that I wasn't dropped off and that I had showed up barefooted, and eventually through her daughter found out that I had run away, she obviously was very concerned and called my parents to come pick me up. I'm really not too sure who got in more trouble that day, believe it or not, whether it was me or my parents. Because that whole incident sparked an investigation, and A few days later, Child Protective Services came out to the house, and they were there to question my parents as to why I would have gone to such drastic measures to run away from home.